Hello everybody, it's Serafina and I'm here with your daily tarot insight. So before we begin, I would like to call upon the spirit of the universe that loves us unconditionally. I would like to call upon the spirits of this land, of this island, and of this ocean, and I thank them for holding this space and for their ancient wisdom. And I would like to call upon my guides, my archangels, my ancestors, my team of light, and my higher self, and I thank them for their presence and guidance with this tarot reading. And I would like to also call upon Archangel Raphael to the east, Archangel Michael to the south, Archangel Gabriel to the west, Archangel Uriel to the north, Archangel Sandalphon below, and Archangel Metatron above. Thank you for holding this space. Okay, so before I pull cards, I just want to share a little something I saw in meditation today. I realized that we're already in June, right? And it's on June 20th that we have the summer solstice. And that means that the sun is going to reach its apex or its culmination in its orbit, and we're going to have the longest day of the year. And so this is always symbolic of something that has been gestating or growing within us since possibly last December. And as we're approaching this pivotal moment on the orbit of the Earth, I feel that it's important to be able to enter this portal, if you like to see it that way, because it's a portal of time, right? It's a portal of time that is represented, or we can see it physically with the seasons, right? So as we're approaching this luminous portal, which is the beginning of Cancer season, I just felt this need for a lot of us to find a lot of inner clarity, or to contemplate on the last 6 months of our life and what has been growing or gestating within us. But mostly I saw kind of like this quartz crystal that was very, very transparent and very pure, and kind of like the need for us to be able to have this focus, to be able to have this cleansing aspect around us as we move towards this portal and through it. And it's been in a couple of readings now that there has been guidance regarding setting up a clear altar space or a sacred space, a solace within our own bodies, but also in our physical spaces. And so I feel that what these spaces do is that they create like an anchor, a grounding place within our spaces and within ourselves to keep on coming back to, no matter what other transits are happening or whatever else is happening in our life. So it's really hard to put into words what I saw, but I saw kind of like this triangular, crystal, very clear, luminous portal that we're approaching, and the importance of us cleansing, maybe cleansing our bodies with a little bit of detoxification, or assessing our goals on how they're going this year. And I personally have even been journaling how I want the next 6 months of my life to go. So I just kind of wanted to bring that in. Today I'm using a specific tarot deck. It's called the Aquarian Tarot, and it was actually gifted to me by a friend, and his mother was also a tarot reader, and she had many spiritual gifts herself. Her name was Catherine. So I just wanted to express that in gratitude, because it's always nice to receive an heirloom, kind of like of another person who read tarot cards years ago. So thank you, Rainbow, for this gift. Okay, so beloved spirit of the universe that loves us unconditionally, what loving guidance is there for the collective today? What loving guidance is there for the collective today? We have the card of Death. This is transformation. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Two of Swords. What further guidance is there for the collective today? Oh. lots of cards are jumping. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Nine of Pentacles. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Page of Rods. And I feel like picking one more. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Two of Rods. Okay, so to complement, I'll be picking from the Animal Spirit. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Lamb. And let's pick from this deck here. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have Outrageous Openness. Here, I'll show it first. It says, "Dear love, open me to your will. Release me from my attachments. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what's needed and I am open to receive." So outrageous openness. To be honest, I feel like picking one more. Let's see, let's pick from the Ascended Masters. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have Oshun, and it says drink more water. But more importantly, Oshun is a goddess of Afro descendants, and she was very associated with abundance in general, and she was the goddess of like the ocean. So it's all about like golden opportunities, and we can even see that she has a feline friend there. So something regarding to water and being able to like intake more abundance. Okay, so we have the card of death, right? So right off the bat, we know that some of us are going through a transformative process right now where, you know, this is also a card that is linked to Scorpio, right? And if you notice back here, we have these two towers, which are sometimes referred to as the towers that we can see on the card of the moon, but then we have the sun, right? So it's saying like, no matter what process we're going through right now, that we're having to release something, or we're transforming into something new, or we're even coming to terms with something that is leaving our life right now, there's always hope at the end of it, right? So, you know, this card is probably one of the most feared of the deck, but I actually feel quite happy when it comes up because we also have a rose here. Usually it's a white rose. It's funny to see that here's a black rose. And basically it's a card of hope as well, right? So we're on the path and we're coming to terms with things. And it just makes me think of a conversation I had yesterday with someone of just like the fear of death, this collective fear of death that there is, and how it's, how, you know, just coming into terms that things have their natural phase and that people die and ideas die and phases of our life die. It's easier to transition into things. And I'm really feeling that right now, and I'll talk about it later with this. But so something is transforming, right? The card of death is here. And I think that it's a choice, right? Usually this comes with decision making, or that we're at a crossroads in life. But I feel that we've already made the decision. Even if we're kind of like still, you know, trying to decide if we want this sword, if we want this sword, I kind of feel that we've already gone in with our intuition and we've already made the choice. And whatever it is regarding. But we have the Nine of Pentacles, and I read that this is a falcon here, right? And it's interesting to see that we have 6 pentacles here, which she is keeping to herself, and 3 pentacles here, which can kind of represent like collective and giving abundance back into people. We have a falcon, and the falcon represents vision. It represents long distance vision, right? And so this card is a card of sovereignty. It's a card of independence. It's a card of us standing our own ground. So whatever this decision is that we're having to make, or this pivotal moment, or this intuitive hit that we're receiving, has to do with us standing in our own power. Then we have the Page of Rods. The Page of Rods is very enthusiastic. It's very courageous. And I sometimes link this card even to like past life patterns or past life gifts that are coming in for us. So it could be that we're kind of like sculpting or working on things that have to do with our past life talents or with past life patterns. But rods basically are wands, right? And they represent this creative approach, right? So it's very courageous and enthusiastic. And then we have the Two of Rods, which is someone holding the world in their hands with these two pillars of creativity. So when this card comes up, I interpret it as us expanding beyond what we thought was possible, right? It's us getting out of our comfort zones and expanding beyond what our preconceived notions are of what we could achieve, right? So I feel that this is kind of broad, and I think that it's broad on purpose because I feel that this relates to different people in different ways. But what I wanted to talk about with the process of death is this card of the outrageous openness, of just trusting that as you release your attachments, you're allowing the divine to come in and weave in what is actually meant for you, right? And so if we're controlling things, if we're trying to control the outcomes of things a bit too much from anxiety or from trauma, we're not allowing the natural unfoldment of things to actually happen. So this relates a lot to our relationship with death, right? So if some of us came to terms and didn't fear death so much from the beginning, we would live our lives in a very different way, right? And so if we come to terms with it, then we can just relax and allow things to kind of like the intelligence of life to kind of like take over and take its own path, right? And so with that, I feel that Oshun, this beautiful goddess of prosperity and golden moments, is telling us that there are important things at the brim right now. It could also mean for us to talk, to relate a little bit more to the ocean and to the ebbs and flows of the ocean, and kind of like take note of how we can be more like water, right? So I want to read from the card of the Lamb. Peaceful, prophetic, and patient. The Lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is an honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Though the Lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with the utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, and receive. So when in balance, the Lamb is knowingness and inner peace. And when out of balance, it is quiet, timid, and concerned. So to bring into balance, it suggests meditation and listening. So what I feel that it's telling us is that whatever it is that we're going through right now, whatever clarity is coming for us, which is going to allow us to stand back in our power and have this clear focus and be able to take these opportunities and trust the divine will, trust the path that is being forged for us, it is going to come through a silent message. Like I said, maybe a conversation through a friend or a post on Facebook, or anything, but like we're gonna have to be silent enough to be able to listen to the subtlety of it, right? There's a prayer that I pray sometimes that says that that the Lord of the universe speaks in silence. And so when we meditate is when we're listening to God speak to us, and when we're praying is when we're speaking to God, right? So all in all, I feel that there's a phase that's over, and I'm highly relating it to this Mercury that's finally going direct tomorrow. And we already have an inner knowing because we've had to use our intuition regarding it, right? We've had to go inside, and it's allowing us to have a clearer vision and to stand our ground, to be sovereign, because we're approaching past life patterns or gifts, and we're forging them with courage and enthusiasm, and we're allowing ourselves to expand beyond anything we had imagined, because there are golden opportunities and abundance that are coming in for us. And we just have to be silent enough to listen to the guidance that is coming to us through different sources, and trusting that, that the universe forges our path, each and every one of us, in our own way, and that life speaks to us in a way that we will understand. Okay, so to finish, let's pick from the White Light Oracle. By the way, if you see that I'm full of paint, it's because I'm painting my living room right now. So, beloved Spirit of the universe, what loving guidance is there for the collective today? What loving guidance is there for the collective today? We have Beatitude of Sacred Rapture, number 29. So we can see like this male presence kind of like admiring in awe of this beautiful feminine energy, and them kind of like colliding into each other. So I'm curious to see what this card is all about. Let your true self be seen. Search for the deeper spiritual purpose and opportunity for healing beneath conflict and suffering. If you have been in pain, this oracle brings a message of a joyful breakthrough. Your soul is growing stronger, more able to have faith in wisdom than in judgment or doubt. Commit to your spiritual path and know you are making progress, even if things seem more difficult for a time. Know that any such difficulty is part of your healing and that you will successfully move through it. Trust yourself. To feel that you are fully seen, loved, and recognized for who you are honors your true self. To be witnessed in such a state, truly beheld in all of your uniqueness, quirkiness, vulnerability, and strength is deeply empowering. This is how Spirit sees you. So when you connect with Spirit, you learn to love yourself and others unconditionally and become generous with your forgiveness. You are also less likely to be hoodwinked by ego. You start to see yourself and others at a soul level. And so this reminds me of something that I was talking about with a friend yesterday, that it's amazing to see the transformation of people when they are witnessed and loved exactly as they are. Because when that happens, then people feel safe. They feel like all these hidden flowers that they've had, no matter how quirky they are, they start to blossom. So, by allowing ourselves to be seen and to be loved, first by Creator and then by others, this is like this alchemical transmutation starts to happen. When we are beheld, the need to behold arises. We need to bear witness to the sacred, to acknowledge what is true, which means cutting through the fog of illusion, deception, and confusion with the clarifying knife of higher perception. There is quantum power in pure vision. And so I feel, again, like with the meditation that I had today, something about pure vision, something about clarity, crystal clear, white light coming through, right? And it's even making me think of this white falcon here, right? It empowers the viewer and also that which is viewed. Seen from a position of inner spiritual truth, we look below the surface, which has an alchemical potency to set healing in motion. What vision of yourself or others do you either cling to or need to free yourself from? How might your choice either encourage or impede soul awakening? When life is tough, you can admire the courage it takes to grow. There is a compliment inherent into being allotted to life changes. Rapture is a state of intensely pleasurable joy that lifts one into communion with the sublime and the sacred. It is not only a personal experience, but also a transfusion of divine delight into the collective soul of humanity. The Beatitude is a blessing, a highest blessing. The oracle of Beatitude of sacred rupture brings guidance that the beautiful healing truth of spirit is your reality. All else is a nightmarish misuse of imagination and ego. When you sense spirit at work in your life, totally trustworthy and having your back, you are seen clearly. When your hopeful heart feels empowered, you are in the zone of truth. Trust those moments. Recall them whenever you can. Count all your positive moments and wins, no matter how inconsequential they may appear. So I feel like this is connecting back to what we were talking here about the outrageous openness. And, it says, "Dear love, open me to your will," right? So it's speaking to God. "Release me from my attachments. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what is needed and I'm open to receive." So I feel that this death process that we're talking about today is about releasing these attachments and allowing this beatitude of rupture to come in. And what it's basically saying here is that it brings guidance that the beautiful healing truth of spirit is your reality. So these moments of clarity that we're receiving is the ultimate reality, and all else is just ruminations of the mind and the ego trying to understand things that maybe it'll never really fully understand. So if we can sit in complete trust in source, in our guides, in nature, that is where our true power lies. Okay, everybody, I hope that this was useful to you. If you enjoyed this video, please like. You can also comment how this applies to your life in any way. And also subscribe to my channel if you feel compelled to do so. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can always go to my personal website. And I will be back here tomorrow with another reading.